Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Tequila Talks Podcast, episode 3, our first podcast of 2024. You already know your friend Tequila Bay, and today we have a cool guest by the name DJ Smoov. Herbie, say what's up.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, so we're here excited to go ahead and showcase not only DJ Smoov and I's work relationship, obviously with Patron Tequileria. We put on some crazy brunches, some really cool experiences, but also just to highlight the skill sets of Smoov and his trajectory. So let's go ahead and dive in. And for the afternoon, we're gonna be enjoying Tequila Centenario. Centenario Reposado was one of our more popularized videos when we covered and reviewed the brand. So I think we wanted to bring it back to enjoy. And Smoov really wanted to drink some Reposado, so I went ahead and brought the Tequila Centenario Reposado, but I also brought the Extrañejo because I want him to kind of get out of his comfort zone to drink a different tequila. But we're always drinking Reposado and pineapple, so.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, how did you get started in the entertainment and the DJ industry, and was that your first intention? Or did he have a different plan? Because now you're a pretty well-known DJ, so go ahead, man.
Yeah, so pretty much it started back when I was in middle school. Everything had kind of collected around me making mixtapes. Remember Napster, LimeWire days, all that stuff. So
illegally downloading.
Yes, I was. So everything kind of revolved around that. I was always the guy that kind of revolved into getting the mixtapes. I knew where to get all the hottest music at.
Okay.
I was putting music together on these CDs, and it turned into going into high school. People would always come to me all the time for their mixtapes and their CDs for their cars that they could jam out to.
Yeah.
So obviously, remember the days you'd write them on the marker, or write down the CDs with the marker and stuff like that. So I was that guy. And then came around like 2005, 2006-ish. I ended up turning in, playing some music off of a laptop that I had. I was just playing music down in the Big Fish down in the valley, if you remember those days.
Big Fish in the Valley. I don't think so.
So it was.
I remember Gators and all those crazy shots and all the crazy bars in the valley, but.
Yes. So in our day, I'm a little bit older. In our day, we had basically Lazy Gator was called the dorm.
Okay.
And then the dorm, and then you had the Big Fish in the middle where the Gator ended up buying into.
Yeah.
So I really got my start of DJing down there. I was playing the music off the laptop, building up a dance floor. Kind of people like, hey, I hear you DJ now. And then that turned into, somebody calling me up, to do a party, offered me $100. I didn't know I was gonna get paid, start DJing. If you would have asked me going through high school or anything like that, or, before I started getting paid to DJ, if I really thought of it as a career, I never did.
Okay.
It was very wild to me that, somebody offered me $100 to even come DJ their party, because I didn't think I was gonna be, anything in that realm. Basically, after that point, I started investing in, more equipment. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things I always wanted back in the day was like this thing called an NS7, which was a turntable-based controller. And I ended up saving up enough money to get that, and the sky's been the limit ever since.
Yeah, and I mean, now to the point where now he has Smoov Entertainment. You do all sorts of events, nightclubs, parties, private, you name it. So you've really built a sustainable and a successful entertainment brand.
I sure have. And like I said, if you would ask me in high school if I would ever thought of this as being a full-blown career, I would have told you you're crazy. And if I had $1 for every time somebody told me to go out and get a real job as well, on the flip side of this, I could save a pretty good amount of money.
And man, I hear that all the time. So I went to school for engineering. I have an engineering degree, but I decided to stick to hospitality and restaurants. Now my job is to drink tequila. So let's go ahead and cheers to that. I'm a tequila taster, so I could have gotten a real job. I heard that all the time. But here we are. What do you think?
Pretty smooth.
Pretty smooth.
Yeah, pretty smooth.
Smooth.
Would it be?
Yeah, so Centenario, it's got some nice vanilla.
Yeah.
It's got some oak. Mexico is #1 tequila. And what I like about it is the price point.
Yep.
If you pick it up on a shelf, it's like $28 for a fifth. But like the quality of that smoothness, I'm gonna keep saying that now, smoothness.
It's gonna warm it up.
The quality of the smoothness, man, like it's unmatched for the price point. So I think this was a good selection. Right. So you didn't really know that you wanted to be a DJ, kind of stumbled upon your lap.
Yeah.
You stumbled into the opportunity. You started scaling the business. What have you learned about entertainment, nightlife, hospitality? Like, you do some pretty big gigs. You're working at some of the best nightclubs here in Cleveland, Akron, Columbus. So go ahead and tell me about your experience.
So my experience, I started dabbling more into the Cleveland industry a little bit over, I would say it's been over 10 years ago, when I really started making my way up to the Cleveland market, because I was more focused on the private industry. Industry, big shout out to Cleveland Music Group. I got to, shout out my guy Scott up there, who took me on, on his team, took a big risk as me being a club style wedding DJ, and I kind of turned the market around. I've been a very influential guy for this area for the club style wedding DJ, and that's how I built my team up. So what I did, I've always been really big in the nightclub scene here in Akron area, but then when I took my talents up to Cleveland, it just blossomed me even further, made me open up my palette of music even more, because you could be more open format. Open format means you're being able to play anything and everything.
Okay.
So when it comes down to playing EDM, playing hip hop, playing R&B, playing country, playing some old school throwback, playing disco, you name it, some rock, alternative, it doesn't matter. I kind of opened up my palette way more when I got into the Cleveland market to that realm.
Yeah, and let me give you some kudos, man, because like one of those Smoov brunches that my parents were at, my dad was like obsessed with how you DJ. He's that guy can mix. That guy can set the tone, and you do a really good job. Every time I go to Ivy or Barley, like you do a great job of like mixing the most random choice music, but you like mesh it together. So
So that's one of my traits that I'd like to take hone of, is because I love to be able to be creative with music.
Okay.
And when somebody challenges me, like especially in a nightclub, they'll throw out a request or something like that. I take that as a challenge, like how can I bring this in, and how can I come out of this and still spin it into a nightclub atmosphere and keep the energy there. So whether it's wordplay or whether it's beat matching or something sampled from this song to that song, my brain works in that manner to where I love to be able to challenge that level of entertainment and value for people and give them what they're really looking for.
Yeah. So if you would say, like, if someone wants to be a DJ or someone wants to learn the ropes, like 3 things, give us 3 things that you would tell them, like, this is where you need to focus.
Yeah. So 3 things. Number 1 is know your music. You're gonna be able to have a very wide range of music in your mindset. I always tell guys, like, what is your favorite style of music and how'd you grow up? What is your background in music and different things like that. So one of my things I tell people about myself, I have 1 foot in hip hop and R&B, and I have 1 foot in everything else.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
But so that core is hip hop, R&B, and you build around it.
Yes.
Okay.
So growing up with my mom and my dad, my dad was a little bit more of a country, kind of like rock, Bob Marley, electric like orchestra, that kind of realm. But my mom gave me my R&B side.
Okay.
So when it comes down to your Jodeci's, your Brian McKnights, your Totals, your 112s, all that stuff like that. Back in the '90s, I grew up on all that from her.
Okay.
Obviously, your Whitney Houston, your Mariah Careys, and all that stuff for the women too.
So having a good catalog of music and understanding music.
Yes, great catalog of music. You have to invest into yourself, and that's going to help invest into the business in itself and your branding and your marketing asset, and also practice.
Okay.
You're not going to get anywhere by just going up to a nightclub scene and just throwing music on and understanding that. So you've got to go in there. You got to practice at home. Mixing. Even if you got to start off with small bars like I did. Back in the day.
Yeah.
I used to utilize the small bars almost as paid practice, if that makes sense in that realm.
Yeah, because the stakes aren't so high.
Yes.
It might be a little bit more relaxed. You can fool around.
Yeah.
At that point, people are drunk. They don't really care as long as they're in rhythm.
Yes, absolutely. So I used to utilize those as paid practice, and I would learn how to mix. And I challenge people because everybody wants to be at the highest level at all times.
Right.
Everybody's like, hey, how can I get into this market in Cleveland? How can I get into this nightclub over here and that? And I feel like some people are just they're not ready for that challenge just yet.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they have not had enough experience in the smaller markets to make themselves, you know, relevant into the bigger markets.
Yeah, and like for you, man, like you've built Smoov Entertainment. You're an entrepreneur, you've built a brand. For me as an entrepreneur, a lot of it is delayed gratification.
Yeah.
You know, I own a restaurant bar. Do I want to be like Salt Bae and own restaurants worldwide? Yeah, but that's going to take 20, 30 years. And like for you, you know, it takes time to develop the skill set. So practice, know your catalog of music, and have the right equipment. For my sake, training, a lot of tequila. Big time. I like to drink a lot of tequila. I got to train. So you got to practice. You got to have a good atmosphere at my restaurant, the quality of the products and the things that we do, and then just being well-versed in what you do. So that's awesome, man. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question that I have for you. So what are your upcoming goals, or what are your big upcoming projects that you have in mind and that you have in the pipeline, and where do you want to take that to, and how do you want to develop?
You know, going back to speaking on our Smoov brunches that we have started off at your place, El Patron, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I know we can't wait for the summertime to come back around, to be on the patio and that good scene. You know, what I want to do, I want to actually grow that even bigger than what it has been. Okay. So I feel like in the next like year or 2 years, obviously we're going to continue our partnership and moving forward with that, and, you know, growing, you know, a great vibe dining experience, you know, in which, you know, I feel like that's going to be coming to the next steps in, you know, not typically nightlife, but just your experience overall anymore, because I feel like people are not going out like they used to. So people like want to go out, they want to eat, they want to drink, they want to vibe, and they want to have conversations with their friends and family, or even businessly, you know, and people are going out earlier and they want to be home earlier so that way they don't get themselves into some trouble. So moving forward, you know, I want to start creating a different vibe dining experience with people. You know, being able to go out on a Tuesday night, have tacos, listen to, you know, DJ Smoov or another DJ, or, you know, whatever it is that goes on. But I feel like switching the whole trend up of the nightlife and moving forward with that, I think that's where I want to move forward with. But also, you know, with these brunches, I want to build that up to also on a bigger level as well. I try to stay very loyal to like my crew, you know, try to stay loyal with you, loyal to people that I've been with for years, especially down, you know, the M Bar and in Jersey and stuff like that. My thing is, I've been contacted by so many different restaurants over the past several months about trying to go to their restaurant. Oh, wow. But I'm not really trying to do that just yet. You know, I feel like I want to stay and keep growing business with you, grow a business with them. You know, and maybe in 2 years or something like that, we can grow this to almost like a big tour. I'd like to take it around to other cities and other states and stuff like that, and sell tickets, because I have had people reach out to me, you know, from other places like, hey, look, you know, we want to do a brunch with you. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm trying to build that up a little bit more than what it is just yet. So.
And I think that's why, like, you and I work really well together. Like, for me, like, hospitality is at the pinnacle of what I do. And like, when we kind of pitched this idea, you know, I wanted to bring on Smoov. You know, we have the patio and the vibe, and like, we travel, so we go to big markets, big cities. These big markets, big cities are doing these kind of events, Sunday brunches, bottomless mimosa. So when we started doing that, it was like a revelation. People were like, man, we've never experienced in Akron. There's a rooftop, there's music. So, I mean, I think that, you know, what we want to build, we've talked about it. We've alluded to that vibe dining. I think that was part of the intention when I started El Patron, is to create that vibe on the patio with the cabanas and the fireplace. So as we build El Patron, we've talked about working on another project, whether it's, you know, we're opening another lounge or doing something together, or even just expanding that brand of Smoov Brunch and taking it to other locations. That sounds like a really really cool goal, and you know, I'm glad and honored to be part of it. And I think that we started something big. We started something important here in the city. We did. Akron, Cleveland, because people really rock with it. So,
you know what's crazy is this past summer we had a lot of people come from like Youngstown market. They came from Columbus. We had some people come from Columbus. You know, Cleveland. You know, we're trying to get you guys to trickle down here a little bit too. I know you guys, you know, are up in your realms, but we'll make it up there to you eventually. But we definitely want to invite you guys to come down here and kick it with us. Especially I know the lower Cuyahoga County people, they definitely came down here a little bit. But realistically, man, we had like a nice following from outside of Akron in the city. They came came out and supported the brunch.
Yeah, the Smoov Brunch. We had the bottomless mimosa, the Mexican-inspired chicken and waffles, which were to die for, breakfast burritos. So yeah, I'm always trying to push the boundaries. And like in hospitality, like El Patron is a platform, Tequila Talks, all the things that I do. I like to go against the grain and do things that are different outside the box because I'm not big on instant grat. Delayed gratification, I'm willing to put my head down. You're the same. You put your head down, you put the work. It takes time to be great. It doesn't happen overnight.
No.
So let's go ahead and move to our final step of the conversation of this great podcast. Tell me what you know about tequila, what you didn't know about tequila, what you like about it, if it's your favorite. Let's see what you know. What do you got for me?
All right. So tequila-wise, I had just started drinking tequila, honestly, just about 3 years ago. And, you know, shout out to my guy, Eddie Jackson. He put us on to the Casamigos Reposado at this point in time. So I remember the first time I had a sip of Casamigos Reposado, it went down so smooth. And I was like, man, I love
vanilla, very smooth.
Yes. And I fell in love with it. And now, mind you, if you would have ever asked me, I didn't start really drinking until I was about 28 years old. Never been drunk until maybe like 30 something.
Because you were putting on the party.
I was always under locked control. So I really was never a really big drinker coming up through my 20s. I never drank even, you know, earlier I was always the designated driver for everybody. So I was that cool guy that, you know, everybody could depend on to get you to the club and home safely. And, you know, got myself home pretty safely.
I'm DD most of the times too.
Good.
I can't lose my liquor license, so.
No, not at all. But yeah, as far as tequila goes, man, I fell in love with it just for the simple fact that obviously with the Casamigos, I really wasn't having no bad headaches or hangovers like I do with vodka on the next day. And you know, I've been trying to, you know, test out different tequilas and stuff like that. So I kind of, you know, got away from the Casamigos a little bit just recently and started drinking some like Milagro because it went down really smooth too.
That's what you were doing on the rooftop.
So, but I definitely am open to more tequila because I feel like that might be just what I like to drink, and it's a very comforting taste to me now compared to what it used to be.
And as you get to understand the spirit and drink it and try different products, like I've always put you on, you know, whether it was Suavecito or Milagro, Don Julio, there's so many products out there, but definitely tequila is the cleanest spirit. It's a plant-based spirit that you definitely want to be drinking, and it's most likely going to remove hangovers. If you're drinking a quality tequila, it's going to get the job done. So let's go ahead and have you try this Gran Centenario, because Smoov over here, he's always wanting to drink that Reposado.
Yes.
But you know, I like to enjoy the full spectrum of tequila. So we're going to go ahead and pour out a little bit of this extra añejo, which means extra aged. It sits in a barrel very long, for a long time, 4 or 5. It can sit up to like as long as you want it to. So let me know what you think. Kind of like a cognac, kind of like a brandy.
Okay.
Very rich, very dark. For all you cognac drinkers, I recommend you some extra añejo. What do you think?
Definitely tastes the extra smoky. The wood. Yes.
Much more complex.
It is.
Oaky, smoky, spicy.
So what would you mix that with, as far as like if you were to take a mixed drink?
Yeah, I mean, I'll use an extra añejo. Honestly, I like to sip them neat. Maybe put a little ice cube or an añejo old fashioned.
Okay.
I like to make mezcal and añejo old fashions, maybe in a Manhattan or something that's gonna require some complexity, but I honestly just prefer to sip it straight, enjoy it, relax. So, any questions for me, man? What do you think about the podcast experience? We talk about the Smoov Brunch Experience and all these experiences that we put on. What do you think about the Tequila Talks podcast experience?
I love exactly what you've been doing, especially with the Tequila Talks, bringing on a lot of really influential people from the city. I'd just like to know what's next with you going forward with the Tequila Talks, and where do you foresee this, growing in the next couple of years?
Yeah, so as we tap into personalities like you, man, Kofi, Dom with Unknown, and my goal is just to create a community of people in our own backyard. So, You know, a lot of times people here in the city in Akron, Cleveland, you know, we all want to get out. Oh, I hate Akron. I don't want to be here. I want to move out. But like, we have to start at home. So highlighting those people that are local and then eventually tapping into bigger celebrities, bigger icons, bigger moments, so that we can enjoy these great conversations with tequila.
Yep.
Part of the reason why I'm so focused on social media is so that when I do expand and when I have a restaurant in Columbus, in Cleveland, and all over the place, that we have a point of emphasis with tequila culture, tequila education, and kind of like Salt Bay when he travels. I love that guy. Oh, like Tequila Bay, Salt Bay, I'm always gonna name drop him, but kind of like him, like, if he's in Miami or he's in Dubai or he's in LA, I want to be the same. Like, I want you to come to my restaurant so that I can give you that experience.
Absolutely.
And I can sit down, have a drink. But the podcast, dude, I just love being in front of the camera.
Good.
I think I look good in front of the camera. I sound much better than when we first started. Go watch our first videos. We were absolutely atrocious. It's embarrassing. But now that we've gotten much more comfortable.
Growth.
It's just growth, man.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
You get to see the growth and you get to put your head down, you work at something that you believe in, and you slowly see the results, like your trajectory. You started at a small bar. Now you're DJing at the biggest nightclubs in Cleveland. You're tapping into Columbus. I still have to go to the Mandrake.
Yes.
The Mandrake.
Coming up next weekend, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe
Saturday the 20th.
Maybe I drive down to the Mandrake. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, we had a great time. I appreciate you, brother. We're locking in all summer long. Catch us at Smoov Brunch. We're turning this up. Your friend Tequila Bay, your friend DJ Smoov.
Hey.
Thank you for being here. And we'll catch you on our next episode of Tequila Talks. Like this video, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. And on our next episode, we're gonna be highlighting some really cool stuff. We got a lot of tequilas, high-end Codigos, high-end Corazones. So stay tuned. And like I always say, shoot your shot, sip tequila.
Hey.